Hello, hello, hello. It is April 3rd. God, April Fools just passed us by. Look at all the fools around us and ahead of us. Be that as it may, tomorrow is Easter. So let's see if we can resurrect ourselves and try to do better. In the meantime, let me read from our preamble. Recognizing the power of the word as an instrument to promote and protect democracy, as well as our moral responsibility to promote and protect literacy and moral rectitude in accordance and support of our most precious Constitution, we pledge that we, as citizens of these United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, swear to promote and protect what has been ordained and established as our Constitution for the United States of America, and as such, offer proof of our witness to the power of the word through the offerings of our work in order to not only document for all conscious souls to experience, but leave an ongoing legacy, for our actions are the actions of the future, and as such, recognize this moment as sacred for the next 7 generations. I am not going to get political, but boys and girls, there's a major effrontery happening to our Constitution and our civil liberties, and it has nothing to do with right or left or some designated party. There's only one party, and we're not invited. So it is time for us to really look what the Founding Fathers projected in an obvious intellectual exercise beyond what history will rightfully damn them, their own shortcomings as humans. Jefferson was a slave owner, though he did free his slaves on his deathbed. But it was Jefferson in the Declaration, through the help of Ben Franklin, who said, no, it's that we hold these truths to be self-evident. That was a contribution by Ben. But my favorite line within the first stanzas, because the subsequent stanzas became a laundry list to demonstrate the grievances against the king in England, so they wanted to prove themselves not to be a rabble. But my favorite line, if I remember correctly, but when the series of events envisions the same object, it is the right and the duty of the people to abolish it and replace it with one that will. Well, there it is, boys and girls. Uncle Tom gave us the road to say this is an active revolution. Now, as far as the Constitution, which is James Madison, James is truly an incongruous fellow. He had 100 slaves, of which he released none of them on his deathbed, including his lifelong valet, Julian. This is a card-carrying dirtbag. However, he was a genius, and once again, in the context of an intellectual exercise, created our Constitution, which is addendable. Thus, even though to ratify it in the early days, to solidify the 13 colonies, there were serious omissions. But then came the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. And then came the 19th Amendment, which is interesting because women got the right to vote all those years later, after slaves were freed. So you see, as painful as the fits and starts are, the genius is the addendable nature of it. We now have a serious threat towards the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment if not the whole shebang. And let me be perfectly clear. I do not like guns. For a very simple reason. There's a very strange phenomenon known as production for use. Imagine yourself in a highly emotional situation, and you have to enact upon whatever you're doing, say to protect yourself. You do whatever you can within your wits. All of a sudden you have a gun, you're going to use your gun. And there could be serious, inconsequential results of that were not your intent other than in defending yourselves. Be that as it may, that is, I speak for myself. But I will defend anybody who wants to have a gun and buy as many guns as they wish, because I think it is quite seriously self-evident that what is going on in our precious country by greed and the power brokers who have colonialized Africa to the point of the greatest abject poverty within a continent of the most astounding resources, which they do not participate in. It's just one example of many. And the proliferation of war that has cancered society for hundreds of years, if not since millennia and time immemorial itself. We have to change the way we think, boys and girls. We have to change the way we think. We are all united. We are all united. We are not divided at all. We are angry. We are hurting. We are disenfranchised. We see how the system should work and is overtly not. We see how our pundits are facing us, hey, and taking bread from our plate, willingly, wantingly, relishing it. The educational system, you hear me speak. This is a public high school education, but I was taught the tools how to learn and instilled with the desire to learn, where I can stand toe-to-toe with any academic on virtually any subject. And what I don't know, I can be motivated to go out and seek what I don't know and try to learn it, because that is the total of an education, an active verb that is a continuance until the days we expire. It happened in this country once upon a time when it was the drop-dead envy of the world. Our public education system was the drop-dead envy of the world. It is a complete dysfunctional joke today. And now we have this Marxist movement of political correctness where everyone is a winner. I mean, there's no excellence, there's no discerning between those who work 18 hours a day and those who sit on their ass and pick their nose and scream self-victimization. There's really no difference. Nay, nay, nay. I will defend anyone's right and everyone's right to maximize their potential as God-given. We all have our own mind within these hominid bodies, these bipedal bodies of a brain. But what is mind? It is an aspect of something that will be discussed for the end of days. We can only assume, but everyone's got their own, and they have an inalienable right to expand upon it to the maximized potential of their being. This is what we should be talking about. This is what we should be demonstrating, not what is being rammed down our throat to forcing us into a reptilian brainstem, just impulse response, where we yell and scream at each other if the wind blows the wrong way. Nothing is 100%, boys and girls. We agree on certain things, so let's get the certain things done, and then let's go someplace and either lift a few beers or eat together and yell at each other. It's called passion. Let's have some fun. Turn the television off. Think. Find who lives next to you. Find what the commonality of life is about. And for all of you who really are going to go to church tomorrow and celebrate a symbol of resurrection, let this be a resurrection. We're talking about our most famous Jew, who talked about peace and love. So don't be a hypocrite, embody it.